Sabres hockey is brought to you in part by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By Dodge, the new Dodge. See your team Dodge dealer today. By Pepsi, nothing else is a Pepsi. And by 1-800-COLLECT, the way we call collect today. Buffalo Hardwood starting goaltenders Dominic Hasek after a one-day vacation. He's back into the act again. 21 wins right up the top of the National Hockey League. And Stéphane Fiset at the other end of the rink. He'll be in nets for the Los Angeles Kings. Don't let that 3.68 goals against average fool you, though. He's a pretty heady goaltender. Referee Lance Roberts, and the linesmen are Mike Civic and Barron Parker as we get things underway here at the Great Western Forum. Schmeling trying to tip it in over the line. Does. It's knocked down right along the blue line. Then chip back again around on the boards. The Kings attempting to work it out and get it to center. Schmeling taking it back for Shipman. Kick drills it through center ice, but Dawn knocked it back into his own end. Schmeling tracks it down. He slings behind the net for hours on him. Tip to the blue line and sent away to center ice. Smolak powering up. Smolak dumping it in the other direction. Comes up with it again, rubbed it back, and leads up at center ice. Sent back again. Taken now by Shipnick across to Schmeling. Schmeling, a long pass is kicked in over the line, but Smolak is there to take it away. Picks it up, skips it in over the line to Buckby. Buckby picked up. He took a bump from LePerriere. Down at the blue line and just tap back through the middle again as the Kings are making changes. That'll be fired in by Shannon as LePerriere took a run at him. Jammed into the corner. Buckby goes sailing in there, but Mowbray gets it around behind the net. Now it's tapped up on the wing. Shannon taking it back for Wilson. Wilson bringing one off the boards. Barnaby's pass jumped away from Grosek, and Shannon has to help out. Shannon picks it up on the wing. This is going to go all the way down the ice. The Kings were in the process of making a change, so it will end up in an icing call situation as far as Buffalo is concerned. Tonight's scratches brought to you by Vic's Deep Discount.
Well, the same lineup tonight for Buffalo as they iced the other night in San Jose. That means also Jay McKee is not playing tonight. And the injury list for Los Angeles includes Rob Blake and Yekman out. Yannick Perreault also scratched from the lineup, so some pretty good players that are not available to Larry Robinson. And he was saying this morning they're just about due to get 2 or 3 guys back, and he was very happy about that. And what you will see from his hockey club is a very controlled kind of game. He likes to play the trap. The Sabres, you'll see them work the puck patiently up the ice.
Kings keeping it in. The long shot that goes to Kristich, trying to work it out in front. Knocked down by Shannon. Holzinger whipped it to the other side. That'll come out over the line. Nordstrom poking it back into the corner again. Hit behind the net. Shannon got it up on the wing, but not out. Kings keeping it in. Kristich got his stick down, and it's knocked in behind Washington very early, and the Kings get on the board. 151 seconds into the opening period.
Buffalo trying to move the puck up along the boards, and they end up giving it away. And that's something they did the other night consistently against San Jose. And Kristich, I believe, deflected that puck in front of the net. Los Angeles takes the early 1-0 lead.
Matt Johnson and Rob Ray line up against one another and do some shoving right off the bat. Here's Potomski bringing it in on the line. He's trying to cut in, taken away by Galley. Slings it ahead. It's whipped out in center for Ray. Giving it to Primo. Primo in over the line. Back for Ray again. Took his shot. Tisey knocks that to the corner. Moore trying to catch up with it. Knocked to the blue line. Given in by Moore, but it was gloved ahead to him. And this will necessitate a whistle off the play. Kristich getting the goal. Vopat the assist.
One shot by Vopat. That's Roman Vopat on the Los Angeles bench as he fired the puck low and in the general area of Kristich. Kristich was able to maneuver and deflect the puck by Dominic Hasek. And so that's all we always what you're looking for when you're playing at home, an early goal, particularly when you've come off a 6-2 victory in this building a couple of nights ago.
And that's the only shot on goal taken in this game. A roll back for Schmelik. Schmelik will tap one in. He saved, couldn't catch up with it. Slapped back in the corner again. Pekka tried to catch up with it, but tapped around on the other side. Olchuk feeding it free to center ice. Shitnik taking it away. Really knocked it in the other direction, but the Kings are going to recover. Smolek back after it, and the face-off will be in the Buffalo end.
Well, Alex Shipnik had really nowhere to go with that and ended up just firing it down the rink. You talk about a popular player here in L.A. Well, Alex Shipnik was one of the most popular to ever wear a Kings uniform. And I was sort of kidding Alex about it this morning, and he said, well, I don't know why everybody likes me, but they certainly do. He was saying when he first came here to Los Angeles, he didn't know anything. He said he didn't know how to order in a restaurant. He didn't know the language. He didn't even know how to write a check. And saying how much help that he received from the other LA players.
Especially in the writing check part.
Yeah.
Here's Pekka coming away to center now. Skips in over the line. Back foot. Burridge into Pekka. And behind the net, it in front. And Shitnik can't catch up with it. That'll slide away to center. Shitnik being chased around by Ferraro. Squeezes it up on the wing. Burridge tapping it into the corner. Smolek recovers in there. He takes a bump from Dahl. Went around behind the net. Smolek still got the puck. Burridge was knocked down behind the play. Fed back through center ice again. Olchuk can't get that. Then Ferraro kicked it in over the line, and that'll be called on the offside. An early goal from the Los Angeles Kings. They're in the lead on Empire.
M&T Bank's Big Four basketball. If you're looking for a game, this is where it happens. On January 14th, catch a dynamic doubleheader as Canisius takes on Manhattan and Niagara faces Big East powerhouse St. John's and their standout juniors Philippe Lopez and Zendon Hamilton. Intense rivalries, high-flying basketball action now at the Marine Midland Arena. And this time they're inviting one more team to join them. Yours, the Big Four pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, 4 popcorn for only $40. So get ready because it's game time. Call 855-4444 for your tickets today. Presented by M&T Bank.
As they get ready to drop the puck, our Citgo go-to guy, Ray Ferraro, is leading the Kings in the power play goal department, but is on the bench right now. It'll be whipped around behind the Buffalo net. Hasek halting it back there, giving it to Wilson. He swings it around on the boards. Barnaby trying to tap it free. It's cleared, but not out. And the long backhand goes wide of the net. Broughton letting it go. Barnaby in the corner gets squeezed out on the wall. Plant picks it up to center ice to Grosek. Got it back for Wilson again. He couldn't catch up with the puck, however. Grosek then overskates it, and the Kings will recover. Taken away by Vopat. This is the LA line accounting for the goal. A long shot. Hasek handling that one as LaPerriere let it go. Tip free to Stevens with a shot. And he fired that wide, and it goes back into LA territory. Boy, it looked like it hit wet cement at center ice. The puck almost stopped dead in between the benches. To center again, knocked ahead, tipped back in the other direction. Audette can't catch up with it. Christie jams it in over the line, right onto the stick of Shannon. Shannon will work it on the wing and get it right back again. He tries to gain center ice, flips it up on the wing for Audette. Audette getting in over the line, trying to get around Aki Berg on the outside, but it's taken back by Kristich. LA controlling the puck. Shoveled around by Boucher on the boards. Galley holds it in, tipping it back into the corner. Kristich let it go behind the net. Flipped around on the boards again, kicked in by Bugner. Bugner takes the long shot. That's knocked down. Into the corner it goes to Ward. He loses control. Kristich gets it ahead to Nurminen, working it back to center ice. And a shot from center by Berg is slapped around on the boards. Right back on the Bugner's stick. Now for Galley. Galley cleared it to Audette. Off his stick down the ice, and this one's coming 180 some odd feet in the other direction.
Now, so far, an excellent job by Los Angeles, particularly in their own zone, as that's Philippe Boucher, who began his career with the Buffalo Sabres. And talking to Philip this morning, he was saying that one of their problems has been how they've been beating themselves, shooting themselves in the foot, Philip said. Getting the lead, not being able to protect leads. And it's been a long struggle here in the last 6 weeks or so for Los Angeles. The one thing Philip can do is shoot the puck, and he's getting lots of opportunity to do that with Los Angeles.
Bilesma is out between Potomsky and Johnson again for the LA Kings. Johnson did not play in Buffalo. The Kings felt that the Sabres took advantage of his absence from the lineup. If they don't do it right, we'll try it again. Potomski has to come in now against Primo. No, wait a minute. Here comes Johnson. Make up your mind, guys. Down and recovered by Galley. Your bump from Johnson. It comes free to Primo. Primo trying to duck away. Potomski got in front of him. It's tapped right back in again. Bubner charging in there. Johnson's on him. Slipped around on the boards. Deflected to the line and shipped out to center ice. Now brought back in over the line. Primo the shot. Right off. Pisay the save. Cleared back to beside the net again. And Pisay runs down, missed it. Back in behind the net. Primo trying to work it in front. Ray gets involved as well, doing some shoving in there. The Kings come up with the puck. This is dumped up on the wing and now just slapped out and sent all the way down the ice. Hashik must play it and gives it to Galley. Both teams are changing. Here comes Galley flipping it up on the wing. It jumped away from Burridge and it's swept to the blue line by Lopat, but kept in by Burridge again. Daw trying to catch up with it. Worked around on the board. Schmelik worked in low, but his shot goes wide of the net. Ferraro cranking it all the way around on the other side to Olchuk, and he just lets it slip back to the Buffalo line. Shitnik takes it away. Shitnik going to get it to Daw. Too far for him. Tap back in the other direction again. Scrambly at the moment. Ends up at center ice. Shitnik has it once more. Shitnik into LA territory. Leaves it back there, and the shot goes all the way around to Daw on the other side. Daw turning. Cross ice pass, and the shot right on by Pekka. Pisay kicking that away. Worked around on the boards to Brad Smith. He gets rid of it to center ice. Ferraro starting back. Ferraro over the line. Olchuk landed in front of the net and deflected wide by Nordstrom. Ferraro keeps it in. That'll be shoveled back behind the goal again. Smith cannot control it. The Sabres to bring it out with Daw. He got it as far as center, and it's knocked free there and cleared in the other direction where Schmelik carries on. Schmelik in over the line. Does not shoot. Now he does with a weak one that's knocked down by Olchuk, who comes right back again. Olchuk coming to center ice. Oh, there should have been a penalty on Schmelik. He got away with that one. Schmelik flattens check behind the play. Puck comes to center ice. Tipped over on the wing now. Groshek can't catch up with it, and by that time Barnaby had already carried on, and that's an offside against Buffalo. 13 minutes remaining exactly in the first period, and LA in the lead.
Introducing the Whack Attack fishing lure. The lure has been tournament tested and proven itself to be a fish catcher. The Whack Attack comes in 4 weight sizes: 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 ounces. It's also available in 20 fish catching colors. The Whack Attack combines vibration, sound, flash, and size. It can only be described as the perfect 10 of fishing lures. So far, the Whack Attack has caught largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, trout, salmon, walleye, pike, muskie, and crappie. The Whack Attack lure can be spooned or jigged. You can also swim it, hop it, shake it, flip it, or use it as a spin or buzz bait. Your introductory kit comes in a 6-pack. And as an added bonus, you will also receive 12 Wacko Tackle tournament-ready grubs to use as trailers. So if you're ready to catch some fish, order your Whack Attack 6-pack now.
Order your Whack Attack lures, have your credit card ready, and call 1-800-272-2800. Or send check or money order for $21.50 plus $4.50 shipping to the address on your screen. The number again is 1-800-272-2800.
Going to drop this one very close to center ice. 7 minutes into this opening period. Neil Broughton against Plant on the faceoff. Both of them from the same state, but they're not both from Cloquet. So I remember, partner, those lessons you keep teaching.
Jamie Longenbrunner and Corey Millen are from Cloquet, along with Derek Plant.
Kings trying to come back again. LaPerriere's pass goes through the middle right onto Shannon's stick. To Barnaby. That's deflected away. Wilson got it to center ice. Comes up on the wing. Back in the corner. Berg. Barnaby's after him. And Pisay can't get it out. Shannon ripped a shot that deflected off Pisay and off the glass. Now sent back to center ice again. The Kings starting away to Stevens. Stevens rings it in over the line, but that was an offside. LaPerriere got in there too early.
Now that extra move at the blue line is LaPerriere went offside as Stevens made it one extra deke. But Buffalo's, they've had a couple of good scoring chances. Most recently, Daryl Shannon, who let the shot go and the glove save by Fiset. LaPerriere is a type of player like Matthew Barnaby. He likes to get things stirred up. He likes to mix it up.
Audette tying up his man. It squirts free at center ice. Bobbled back through the middle again. Holzinger knocked down from behind by Modry. Modry coming up with the puck now. Swings it back into his own end and gets it to Smolik. Doug Smolik looking for some room as he comes to center ice. Up on the wing, tipped in over the line, knocked down but not out. And Ward perseveres though and gets it out. And then he mixes it up along the boards with Smolik. Coming back to Kings in over the line. Kristich, he can't get anywhere. Ward flipping it back through the middle again. Modry catching up with it. He's being challenged by Zhitnik, who moved way up on the play. Tipped around on the boards. That'll end up back in the corner. Flipped around to Kristich. Doesn't get it out. Kept into Audette. He dumped it wide of the net. Holzinger trying to keep it in. Does. Out in front. That's tipped wide as Ward let it go. Gunned around on the glass. Held in again. The long shot. We say the save. And Audette ended up behind him but couldn't get the puck on it, or the stick on the puck. And as a result, Fiset was granted the opportunity to cover up. Discover Card is a proud contributor to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and tonight is making a donation on behalf of the Empire Sports Network and the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, I noticed here in the early going on Stéphane Fiset, some loose pucks and some rebounds that he's having a little problem with. So Sabres might want to just head to that net anytime that puck is heading in that direction. Of course, that's always a good idea anyway, but tonight get yourself a little extra prepared when you get there.
Muscle power out on the ice for both teams. Galley's long shot just goes wide. Bugner winds up, took his shot, knocked out in front of the net. Kept in by Ray. He slaps at it. Fiset then pins it against the base of the net and hangs on. And the Sabres are beginning to test Mr. Fiset on more and more opportunities.
Well, they had two great shots from the point. The first one by Galley was low and it went wide. The second by Bugner was deflected in front of the net. Here's a shot by Galley. That may have been deflected also. And watch the shot by Bugner as Rob Ray will deflect this puck. And it bounced off the left ankle of the defenseman. So good point shooting by Buffalo.
Sabres holding it in to Galley again. Takes his shot. Fiset knocks that away. Picked up by Vopat. Steering it to center ice. Galley recovers. Galley now dumped it through the middle, but that was a two-line pass that went off Ray's stick, and they'll bring it back and drop it inside the Buffalo blue line. And that will prompt the Sabres and the Kings to do some changing. Despite the fact the Sabres trail 1-0 in this game, the Kings have had but 2 shots.
And the Sabres, of course, was 7. And anytime you like to see those points from the shots from the point men getting through like that for Buffalo. And oftentimes, I know the other night against San Jose, a lot of times the shot never got to the net. So the defenseman's first job is to get it by the forechecker, and secondly to try to get it to the net. So far, they've been doing that.
Berg makes it ahead. Olchuk, however, was checked by Burridge, and it's chipped to center ice. Zhitnik picks it off again. Tried to squeeze it up along the wing. Finally tapped back in by Olchuk. Kings to work it again to center ice. Ferraro can't get anywhere. Sabres keeping it in. Back to Burridge. He runs shot go, and that went wide. Rebound, and Pekka had it chipped wide of the net. Burridge holding it into Daw. Around to Pekka in the corner. Pekka looking for Daw. Gives it to him. Daw swinging around, trying to find an open man. Still has the puck as he goes down low. Berg can't get him. Daw's got it again. In front of the shot. Fiset makes the save as Pekka was all alone. And the Sabres are really buzzing around now in the LA zone.
What a brilliant play, though, by the winger Jason Daw to take the puck up along the boards, back behind the net, and then he made a great pass in front. Watch the play develop. And if we could... Here's the pass coming across and the quick shot by Mike Pekka after some nice work by Jason Daw, using first of all his speed and then his strength to beat the defenseman Berg and make the play to the front. Pretty good piece of goaltending, though, when Pekka was face to face with Fiset.
So the Sabres now with 8 shots on goal. Halfway through the first period. Puck smoked off the boards, not out. Barnaby keeping it in. He'll tip it back into the corner. Stevens trying to work it out of there. Can't do it. They'll jam it again. Broughton pokes it away and sends it to center ice. Shannon knocks it down. Here's Shannon helping it to Barnaby. Trying to get it in over the line. Shannon will golf it around behind the net. Grosek charging in there after it as he bumps with Modry. It's Sabres holding it in again. Modry working over Grosek from behind, who doesn't look too happy about that. They all jam in along the wall again. Platz also involved. Grosek kicks it free and clears it across ice. Shannon trying to get there and does. Tipped it back into the corner. Kings can't get out. Broughton check back there by Plant. They jam in along the wall again. Plant holding it in. Trying to leave it there, but finally Stevens gets rid of it to center ice to LaPerriere. LaPerriere getting it over the line. Wilson lost his stick. It comes in front to Stevens. He shot his goal. That all started when Mike Wilson lost his glove and his stick. And the Kings take advantage. Stevens scooping up the loose puck and slamming it home, and it's 2-0 LA.
Well, nobody picks up Kevin Stevens. And here Buffalo is in trouble as Daryl Shannon went over to help his defense partner, Mike Wilson, who had lost his glove and his stick. And here comes Kevin Stevens to pick up the loose puck and beat Dominik Hasek. And it's 2-0 Los Angeles. And that was after Buffalo had good pressure on LA in the Los Angeles zone.
I was just going to say, how many times you see that happen? One team is all over another team, and then the club that is having difficulty just dump it down the ice and connect right away. Siplikov trying to get free at center ice. He'll tip it back through the middle. It'll be chopped in over the line. Left there for Galley. LA with the lead. 9 minutes to go here in the opening period. Bugner squeezes it up on the wing. Audette pass was picked up by Nurminen. Taken right back by Bugner again to Galley. Galley looking for room. Flipping one across to Audette. He'll just drill it around behind the net. Kristich can't get it. Came beside the net, and they couldn't get it out in front to Audette. Ward tried to find him out there. Kings recover again. Nurminen to Kristich. Back to Nurminen. He'll take the long shot that goes off the glass in the corner. Siplikov knocks it free. Kristich with a shot that's handled back there. And Hasek works it ahead. Donald Audette starting to center. Long pass in over the line to Ward. Ward got it in front. There's rolled wide in front of the net. Now Siplikov coming up with it. Siplikov starting back for Los Angeles. He'll try to clear one in. Can't do it. Holzinger turning back. In over the line to Audette. Took his shot. Fired it wide. Recovered by Potomski. He just shovels it to center. Shitnik taking it back again. For Schmelik. Schmelik bouncing one in. Sending it behind the goal. Fisset leaving it to Boucher. Boucher working it up on the wing. Johnson has it at center ice. He just tips it in over the line. Potomski charging after it. Shitnik bothering him. Well, they cleared on the boards again. Ray starts out at center. Up for Moore. Moore had it locked up in his paraphernalia. Finally backhands it in. Here's Primo flying in there and getting a piece of Smolik. Went around behind the net, and it's tapped back through center ice again. This is going to make its way all the way down the ice, and it will result in an icing call against Los Angeles. The Kings have a 2-0 lead on Empire.
The preceding arguments for sliding doors on both sides were brought to you courtesy of Dodge Caravan. Just as original as the original.
Out on the face-off now for Buffalo. 7:22 left on the clock here in the opening period at the Great Western Forum. Schmelik, the long shot, knocked down in front of the net, and then ends up behind the net. Ferraro will sail one through center ice. Zhitnik to take it away from Hasek. Alexei Zhitnik. For Schmelik. Schmelik got away from one. Whips it up as far as center ice. The pass through the middle to Daw. In over the line. Took his shot and fired it wide. Round on the boards as Schmeling came up to take out his man. Back after it now. Zhitnik using the glass, giving it to Burridge, but he can't get it out. Inadvertently knocked it back in again. Swept on the boards, not out. Comes in front. Schmeling takes it away. Schmeling getting it through the middle. The pass to Pekka. Pekka ripping in over the line. Pekka looking in front of the net, and Burridge couldn't pick it out of the air. Bouncing along with Brad Smith, but it's taken away to center by Olchuk. He'll leave it back there. Broughton in over the line. Olchuk in front, and he couldn't get wood on it. That's knocked down right in front of the net again. Zhitnik got hooked away, but play has been called.
Now Buffalo with 8 shots on goal. Los Angeles 3, and the Kings have made the most of their 3 shots by scoring 2 goals. One under deflection, and one, and Kevin Stevens picked up the loose puck in front of the net. Now watch, we talk about going to the net, and here's another example. Olchuk had pretty good position that time on Schmeling, but could not deflect it in, and Hasek ended up with the puck as the puck flew high in the air, and the Buffalo goaltender held on for the faceoff.
Grosek now knocking down his check in the corner as Vopat ends up on top of the puck, and finally they're going to end up, and they'll have another whistle coming up. I remember one time, we're talking about laid-back people here in Los Angeles, partner. One time years ago when I was doing radio, I took a walk between periods, and I ran into a lady out in the hallway who was dressed in nothing more than a body stocking, which would have been fine, except that she had a body like me. Didn't see the face or in the least.
And she asked you to sign the body stocking?
No. I thought we didn't go that far with it. No.
Well, it's too cold for a body stocking today.
It was a little nippy when the sun went down. Barnaby losing his balance. Plant tried to tip it out in front, and the goaltender Frise is going to hang on. Now Barnaby mixing it up with Nordstrom. And that draws another crowd.
Now Barnaby headed right to the goaltender and sprayed snow up into his mask, and goalies hate that. And of course Barnaby immediately attracted a crowd. Now one of the things that Larry Robinson told his hockey club this morning is to stay away from Matthew Barnaby. Don't let him get under your skin. And
easier said than done.
Yes, and Nordstrom that time was affected by number 36. Larry does not want any unnecessary penalties. Watch from the right. Here comes Barnaby, and watch what he does. See him spray the snow up into the goaltender's face.
Don't you just hate that?
Oh boy, they hate that. And Buffalo, 6:01 to go in the opening period, down 2-0, looking to score that next goal to try to get something going here. They only managed 1 goal against San Jose. That was enough for a point, however, on Tuesday night.
Smolik tipping it around behind the net. It'll be scoop free and sent down the ice by Nermanen. Shannon catching up with it at his own line. He clears it up on the wing. A long high pass, too far for Audette. Tipped back in the other direction. Shannon breaks it up at center. Wilson lost it. Nermanen in over the line. Here's Kristich to Nermanen back. What a save by Hasek. He looked like he was cooked and got a leg on it. Another long shot is knocked down, and it'll be booted to the blue line and finally out by Ward. Taken back by Smolik. Here's Audette racing after it now, trying to keep it in there. Recovered by the Kings. Nermanen forced it out as far as center ice. LA coming back again. Kristich steers it in over the blue line. Yali knocked it away, and Kristich grabs his stick after he lost his. Sent back behind the Buffalo net. Around on the boards again. Kept in there with Siplikov, and he gets checked by Shannon. Shannon rips it off the boards, but not out. Kings keeping it in. Now it'll be picked off by Audette. Audette coming to center to Holzinger. Holzinger to Audette again. Ripped the shot that goes wide of the net, and Holzinger really got the lumber in his face from Nordstrom. Game in front again. Audette scores! Darned Audette as Nordstrom was chasing Holzinger around. Audette picked up the puck, guns it up high, and the Sabres on the board.
This morning after practice, I asked Donald Audette, where do you beat Fisse? He's played against him for a number of years, including junior. He says up high, top shelf. Well, that's where this one goes. But a good play by Buffalo to keep it in. And look at the quick high shot by Donald Audette. And that is a huge goal here for Buffalo as they get themselves back in the game.
Well, are they looking at it?
For what reason, I wonder?
I have no idea, but I just see the officials gathered over at the timekeeper's bench, and I guess not. This must be for some other reason that they were there.
Rob Ray's pointing down into the Buffalo zone. And the goal, of course, stands. That no problem with that. So it must be something else that they were discussing.
I just wonder if somebody had a light in the crowd or something. You know, sometimes that does happen, but I don't see evidence of that at this moment. The Sabres, in any event, are now trailing by only one, with 4:40 remaining here in this opening period. Kings slipping one high in the air. Bugner catches up with that. Being challenged by Johnson, feeds it off the boards to center ice. Johnson running Bugner. Back for Boucher. Boucher whipping one in. That'll be tipped around on the boards. Here's Ray trying to catch up with it. Knocked it out to center. Flipped back in again by Berg and called on the offside. A deliberate offside against Los Angeles. 2-1. The Kings in the lead on Empire.
Old junky antique shops. I like. You want me to tell you what my Discover card statement says? Just little things that make a girl sing. I have fish and I have birds and I have dogs. Mango. Cecilia Bartoli and something by Puccini. Floridita Cuban restaurant. Fabulous. Stuck to my diet a little bit. That cash bonus thing at the end.
How many credit cards make a statement like that?
Live a little.
It pays to Discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Wait a minute. I thought the Sabres changed uniforms.
Well, there's a lot of old and the new here tonight. So I guess he's got the hat. Yeah, he's half and half anyways.
Idette getting the Buffalo goal from Holzinger and Moore.
Yeah, we got another argument going on the face-off here between Mike Pekka and the linesman. Now, it's the Aways club. If you're the away team, you are required to put your stick down first and then the visitors.
He's Pekka picked on the small linesman, Parker, and not Siver. Behind the net now, Burridge took out his check. Daw trying to steer it out in front. He's grabbed from behind, and Smolik got away with one there, and the referee Roberts has his whistle in his pocket. Back at center ice, it'll be slipped in over the line by Olchuk all the way to the corner. Shoveled behind the net by Smith. Round on the boards, Ferraro fishing it free. He loses control, but it came back to the point. And the Kings will hold it in again. In front of the net, chopped away from Smith. Burridge can't catch up with the puck, goes after it again, and it slides across ice to the corner. LA holding it in there again. That's knocked down, comes in front again, and chopped back into the corner. Ferraro coming up with it. He works it around to Smith, trying to get it in front. Banked on the boards, but not out. Held in to Brad Smith again. Tipping it around to Olchuk. And he finally gave it away to Galley. His pass through the middle goes to center ice. Tipped by Modry in the other direction, and Pekka is there to pick it off with the Kings changing. Daw at center ice will just shovel one in, and he'll head to the bench with his line mates. Nordstrom coming away for Stevens. He gave it away right to Shannon's stick. Shannon back through the middle to Plant on the wing to Barnaby. Barnaby tried to clear it in front, couldn't get it to Groshek. Shannon's got it at center ice to Wilson to Shannon. Shannon difficulty getting it away. Plant's pass up on the wing missed everybody, and they're going to call it offside. I guess they're going to rule that it did hit Groshek's stick, and Barnaby again trying to get something going in the corners. We take you down now to Dennis Williams.
Thanks very much, guys. Coming up in our first intermission, Ray Ferraro will be our guest. We'll also have some scores from around the National Hockey League, and Rick and Jim will take a look back at this first period. Let's head back upstairs.
Well, Dennis, I don't want to give away something that you're going to touch on, but I think it's rather important that we point out that Tampa Bay beat Philadelphia tonight in Philly. 3-1 was the final score. What that ends their unbeaten string at 17. Right? Yep. The Flyers. So Tampa Bay in 2 nights beat the Rangers in New York and Philadelphia and Philly.
Not a bad trip.
Oh.
2 of the top teams in the league.
Well, this will slide all the way down the ice, but it will not be called. They'll jam away at it in the corner again. Barnaby got it out in front. Here's Wilson holding it in. His shot. Karam's back behind the net. Barnaby after it again. Had to jam it around on the boards. Into the corner. Plant going after it. Going to leave it there. Stevens took it away. Plant keeping it in. Fisset is going to hang on to this one. He's still hanging on to it, and Roberts wouldn't blow the whistle. And then Fisset stepped into Groshek. Sent to center ice. Stevens starting back. He gets squeezed out at the line. Plant watching his man back in the corner. Stevens took a whack at it. It rolls around on the boards. LaPerriere keeping it in. Kristich with a shot. That goes to Kevin Stevens. Back behind the net to LaPerriere. And to get it away in front, Shannon takes it back. Shannon for Grosek. Grosek check from behind, trying to catch up with it at center ice, and does. Here's Grosek in over the line. He took a shot that's deflected right beside the net, and Fisset knocks it away. Tipped around on the boards. Holzinger could not get it down low to Barnaby, and the Kings with Siplikov coming to center. He'll tap one in. That's left back behind the net. Shitnik getting it around on the boards. Holzinger helps out. Holzinger coming away with Audette, who takes the pass. Audette in over the line, gets checked. It's jammed back to center ice. Worked across ice onto Schmelik's stick. Schmelik rips one in. Fisset handles that for Smolik. He'll drop it off, and the Kings with a pass to Siplikov at center. Siplikov to the Buffalo line. Leaves it there to Kristich. Kristich winding up, shooting one. That's kicked away. A minute remaining in the period. Ward coming back. Ward now up over the line. Holzinger cutting in. Took the shot at the goalpost at the side of the net. Now they roll it back into the corner again. Jamming on the wall. Hermanen taking out his man, and the Kings recover and bring it away to center. It'll be just fired in by Kristich. He didn't wait long enough, but Hasek plays the puck, so there's no icing. Scoop free back at center ice. Recovered by Norrstrom. Norrstrom squeezing it to Vopad. He got it as far as the Buffalo line and in, and Hasek handles it back there and sees Johnson coming out of the corner of his eye, so he hangs on to it with 28 seconds to go.
Yeah, and a faceoff coming up to the left of Dominik Hasek. Ryan Holzinger, a great opportunity. You see the outside speed by Buffalo again. Goaltender Fisset, boy, that was a little bit of overreaction on that play, don't you think? He hit the deck, and
I think that carries on from your point earlier, though, partner. He does not look comfortable.
No, he does not, does he? And even sometimes a goaltender will work through it as the period goes on, but he still does not look comfortable in the net. But in talking to Don Edwards, who is the goalie coach here in Los Angeles, he said that Fisset is a real battler, so he will continue to work hard, and maybe by the second period he'll start to feel comfortable.
On this face-off, it'll be Olczyk and Pekka. Kept in by the Kings. Stevens chipping it back into the corner. Olczyk catches up with it. Left it behind the net, but Shannon got it around on the boards. Daw stepping in front of his man. Work to the blue line. Not out. They'll chop away at it again. Finally, it's flipped free and goes to center ice, where Boucher covers up. Only 9 seconds remaining in the period. Stevens starting back again. He gets in over the line and gets checked, and Pekka trying to come away with no time left. He just flips one in. Fisset handles that, and the first period comes to a close.
Now Buffalo with a wide margin in shots on goal, 11-5, but they made a couple of mistakes that cost them 2 goals, but I thought overall they played a fine period.
So the Los Angeles Kings jump into a 2-0 lead. The Sabres come back to have it before the period was over, and it's just that at the end of 1, 2-1. The Kings in front here at the Great Western Forum on Empire.
If you're looking for job options and opportunities in today's tough economy, you need the nation's #1 job search publication, the National Business Employment Weekly, the only publication that updates you weekly on top jobs available regionally and nationwide. All kinds of jobs, professional, managerial, technical. And you'll learn how to land one of those jobs by improving the way you write your resume and the way you interview. You'll learn new strategies for earning a promotion and negotiating a raise. And twice a month, you'll get the special Franchises and Business Opportunities section, the National Business Employment Weekly, at your newsstand now, or call now and get 8 job-packed issues delivered for just $35. Also get absolutely free the Job Search Guide, a collection of the best ideas to help you land a job. Call 800-228-6605. That's 800-228-6605. The National Business Employment Weekly. If you're not looking here, you're hardly looking.
Sabres Hockey is brought to you in part by your local Chevrolet Geo dealers. Cars you can trust from people you can depend on. By Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. By Tops Friendly Markets. Tops never stops saving you more. And by McDonald's and their new deluxe line of of sandwiches. Try one tomorrow. Yeah, we'll take a look at our Cigna numbers from that opening 20 minutes of play. Well, LA looking after the face-off department. The Sabres really controlled San Jose a couple of nights ago in that regard. But those scoring chances still favoring the Los Angeles Kings. I don't know about that.
I thought Buffalo had a big edge in that. But
well, and the shots on goal, I don't think we're right either. They favor Buffalo 11-5. The shots on goal. So. Hey, before we start play here in the second period, let's go down to Dennis again.
All right, thanks very much, guys. I just talked to assistant coach Paul Terrio. He said he was pretty happy with the team's play in the first period. Except for that second goal, Mike Wilson got a little overly aggressive, and they made a couple of minor breakdowns. But other than that, he said a much better first period than any of the periods in San Jose. Let's head back upstairs.
Yeah, as we were mentioning, not a bad 20 minutes at all. Also, going back to the first goal that was scored by Los Angeles, that was on a giveaway by Buffalo in the zone. But outside of those two mistakes, very solid first 20 minutes of play for this building.
So we will begin the second period. Nobody in the penalty box. In fact, there hasn't been too much in that regard so far in this game. That is not to say that it shan't happen, though. Smith coming away to center. He'll just tap one in. Schmelik catches up with it in the corner, uses the boards for Daw, can't get it out. He couldn't reach it. It's kept in there. Now bobbles its way behind the net, up in the wing to Burridge. Burridge trying to slip it through the middle again. Daw racing after it. Smolik got it off the boards. Schmelik keeping it in. Oh, nice play. Schmelik took his shot, and Fiset makes a save as that one snuck its way all the way through to him.
If you're going to have offense going for you, you must have your defenseman moving up to the blue line. Boy, what a great play by Richard Schmelik as he got right up on that blue line with the forwards as they were attacking into the zone, and the Kings gave the puck away. Here it is right here. See that? That's a great replay. And look at that play as Schmelik pulls it away and then takes the shot. That was all made possible because of mental sharpness by Richard Schmelik to get up there with the forwards.
So Plant will move in and take this draw now for Buffalo. Just underway in the second period. Tipped to the corner, but recovered by Nordstrom. As Nordstrom got it around on the boards, LaPerriere just chips it back through the middle. Eric Plant catches up with it. There's Plant trying to flip it up on the wing. Grosha can't get it out. It's kept in there by the Kings again with Broughton swinging around. He stuffs it down low. It'll be tapped back into the corner to LaPerriere. Stevens couldn't go, and then Stevens just two-handed Plant and got away with that. On the shot from the point goes wide of the net. Shitnik picks it off. Touch by Broughton, getting it around to Schmelik. Schmelik puts it on the boards as he gets nailed by LaPerriere, and the Kings keep it in, but now Schmelik picks it free. He sends it through center, too far for Barnaby, and the goaltender Fiset will play it away. Around to the boards. Grosha keeping it in to Barnaby, to Plant down low. It comes to Grosha in behind the goal. Grosha gets squeezed back there by Vopat. Got it out in front, but it went right to LaPerriere. He flecks it through center. Shannon taking it back, cross ice pass to Wilson. And over the line to Barnaby, floating one into the corner. Came right beside the net again. Grosha flipped it in front, and Fiset grabs that. And Barnaby and Vopat now getting the lumber up behind the net. And the linesmen are quick to get between them.
You know, when you start poking away at a goaltender to try to knock the puck free, you're going to draw some attention, and that's what Matt Barnaby did, and he certainly drew attention quickly. But again, we keep mentioning this about Fiset, as he's had some problems with rebounds and loose pucks. That time he fell on the loose puck, but it's always a good idea to do what Barnaby did. Now the faceoff coming up to the left of the Los Angeles net. Stéphane Fiset against the Buffalo Sabres, career-wise with 6 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie.
Shannon clearing it in front, and Audette couldn't get good lumber on it. Scoot free to center ice. Wilson knocks it back in the other direction. Holzinger will whip it in. Catching up with the puck, Boucher. Boucher slaps it around on the boards. Ward held it in momentarily, then Kristich knocks it away and sends it to center ice. Back in over the line, Siplikov, and the long shot goes wide of the net. Berg letting it go. Aki Berg Back through center again. Adet cannot pick it out of the air. Kristich is there for the Kings. Feeding it to Boucher. He got it through center ice and a chance for Siplikov. Siplikov in over the line, trying to clear it in front. Backhand to score! Boucher on the backhand. And the former Buffalo Sabre puts Los Angeles in front by 2 again, 3-1.
Dominic Hasek didn't even come close to making this save as Boucher scored on the backhand. Here's how the play develops. Now Buffalo's not in bad shape right here. But just a quick backhand shot. I think Dominic may have gotten tied up with his own player right in the goal crease area. And Boucher just with a simple backhand shot. I think that's what happened. That was Dixon Ward who was in a position that Hasek could not move across the net.
And the Kings are in front by 2. Again, Bugner whipping one off the glass to the blue line and out. Potomski lines it back for Smolik. Ray watching him. Across it comes to the other side. Now flipped up the middle by Berg. That'll be taken back by Bugner. Bugner working it around to Ray. Deflected it. Didn't get it out. Kings keeping it in. Stuffed back into the corner. Bugner getting his stick free, but then he gave it away. Here's Smolik lining up again with a shot. That hit a leg in front of the net, and Hasek didn't see that till late. Ray starting back. His pass to Primo. Trying to get around the outside. Gets squeezed off by Berg. They bounce in along the boards in the corner. Moore keeping it in to Primo again. He and Berg fighting for it. Or Modry, I beg your pardon. And it goes around on the other side. Set up on the wing, and finally the center ice where Galley takes it away for Bugner. We'll chip it off the boards. Kings recover again. Both teams are trying to do some changing. Galley slings it to Moore. He can't get free. And it bounces back through the middle again. Picked up by Bilesman. Got it in over the line. That's taken away. Here's Daw failing to get away. Bugner has it. Works it up on the wing. It slides back at center ice, and it's just rattled down the ice by the Kings. Hasek plays it behind the net to Bugner. He's trying to get off the ice. Down to Pekka. Let's go to Burridge. Burridge stuffs it along the wall as he does some bumping there with Olchuk. Comes free to Bugner again. Bugner just taps it as far as the LA line. That comes back to center ice. Kings trying to get away again. It's finally fired off into the corner. Galley catches up with it there. Galley's pass picked off by Vopat. Let his shot go. Hasek boots that away. And it ends up at center ice, recovered by Nordstrom. Nordstrom spins out and goes down and then gets bowled over by Pekka. Pekka's got the puck in over the line with Daw. His puck in front of the net. It's swept away at the last second. Nordstrom clearing the zone. Back through center. 3-on-1 LA. In over the line. And the shot goes to the corner to Smith. He feeds it behind the net. Around on the other side. Ferraro just pokes it free and Schmelik picks it off. Schmelik legging it out now with a pass to Pekka. He'll swing it up on the wing for Schmelik, who goes deep into the LA zone. He stuffs it around on the boards to Berg. Berg giving away to Moore at center ice. Launches it right back in again. Barnaby trying to catch up with it. Boucher got in front of him. Now the Kings with Berg. Sending it ahead and bounced in by Ferraro to the corner, and this is going to result in an icing call against Los Angeles, and Ray Ferraro doesn't like that one little bit and slaps his stick on the ice.
M&T Bank's Big Four basketball. If you're looking for a game, this is where it happens. On January 14th, catch a dynamic doubleheader as Canisius takes on Manhattan and Niagara faces Big East powerhouse St. John's and their standout juniors Philippe Lopez and Zendon Hamilton. Intense rivalries, high-flying basketball action now at the Marine Midland Arena. And this time they're inviting one more team to join them. Yours, the Big Four pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, 4 popcorns for only $40. So get ready because it's game time. Call 855-4444 for your tickets today. Presented by M&T Bank.
5:10 gone by here in the second period. LA has the only goal of the period and has regained its 2-goal margin, 3-1. Plant working it back to Schmelik. Took his shot, nowhere near the net. Down to the boards it comes. Shannon trying to keep it in. Barnaby does. His long shot deflects and rolls right to Pisse, who hangs on. Well, we'll try it again as we take a look at this day in history for Rosita.
And Dominic Hasek, his first NHL shutout over the Toronto Maple Leafs, 2-0. First of many more yet for number 39. Not tonight.
Nope. Shannon holding it in. His long shot deflected just wide. Whacked at again. Fiset covers up. And he hangs on to it. The puck started to come free. Now Barnaby gets knocked down in front of the net. And everybody piling in there. And Barry Moore tripped over one of the officials.
Well, that puck was loose.
Sure was.
Matt Barnaby had every right to go in there and try to get it. And the referee did not blow the whistle. He saw the puck. And, you know, Larry Robinson was telling me this morning about defensemen in the National Hockey League. He says, if you are going to play defense in this league, you have to be a physical presence in front of the net. And that's what he wants to happen. Now, here's the puck is loose. And here comes Matt Barnaby. He sees it. And he gets knocked down. That was Smolik, I believe, who knocked him down. Here's another look as Smolik comes from back behind the net. But Larry's saying, he says, you have to be a physical presence. You have to knock people down. So there's so many goals scored in the NHL on rebounds and so many players who go hard to the net.
And the Kings are going to be penalized here. Smolik is going to get 2 minutes for roughing. And for just that we were talking about, for taking down Barnaby.
Yeah, that was a late hit. And again, that puck was loose, and Barnaby was trying to get to it. And Smolik overdid it. 2 minutes for roughing. And the Sabres send the power play on. No, Teddy Nolan was telling us a sort of a funny story last night. One day, the Buffalo power play has not been producing very well, and said one day Gary Galley called the power play unit over inside the blue line. They had a meeting, and he said, how many young guys here? And so a bunch of them put up their hands, and he said, well, when you were young growing up, did you ever read a book called Where's Waldo? And they all put their hands up, and he says, well, that's going to be our power play. We've got 5 guys, they've got 4 guys. The loose guy, somebody's got to be open. That's going to be Waldo, and we have to find Waldo. So they must have been listening, because the power play has been better recently.
I don't know if they can even spell Waldo. You know, maybe that was the trouble all that time. Nobody could spell Waldo. They couldn't figure out where he was.
Well, it was funny anyways. That's our power play. Find Waldo. Find the open guy.
They're hoping to find Waldo right now with 14 and a half minutes remaining in the period, but I think one of the linesmen has a bit of a problem. That's Mike Civic over there. Check it. It's Baron Parker. He's having his
pants are falling down.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
Yeah. Well, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it was Pete Demers, the Kings trainer, doing a little tailoring for him there. And now they're ready to go. Whip back through center ice. Yetnik will have to catch up with it. And LePerriere is right behind him. Yetnik will work it out now. Pulls away as he comes to center on the wing to Plant in over the line. Plant tried to whip it in front of the net. Knocked down. Audette keeping it in, but it's tied up and plays call.
Now Derek Plant's at center with Donald Audette and Brian Holzinger, beg your pardon, Dixon Ward up front there. 2 power play units. This would be considered the number 1 unit for Buffalo. They have Galley and Jitnik on the points. Then they send out the Mike Pekka line. That would be their 2nd unit. And Holzinger plays the point with Richard Schmelik on that 2nd unit.
So Plant will take the draw once again. Flip back to the point to Galley. He holds it in. Ward and a roll down low, hanging on to it. Now sends it back to the point to Shitnik, getting away. Shitnik in front. Plant scooped it right in front of the net. Audette spins in the corner. Audette swinging it to Ward. To Galley, a one-timer knocked down, but Galley keeps it in. Galley for Ward, playing it off the boards. Back it comes to Galley. Galley took his shot. He pucks, and it ends up bouncing back into the corner. Chopped around on the boards again, and the Kings will rip it down the ice. Bryant has to catch up with his stick. Flipped ahead as far as center. Audette charging after it. Stumbles in over the line. Gets squeezed out by Boucher. Tapped around on the boards. Kept in by Shitnik. Shitnik to Plant. Sticks it in front of the net, and it'll be chopped by Boucher right into the crowd.
Well, the Kings have really been doing a good job on their penalty killing this year. They are 4th overall in the NHL, operating at 88%. Usually when you have a club that's not playing well, and at the bottom of the pack, the special teams are the sometimes guilty parties, but not so in penalty killing. Larry Robinson is a great penalty killer himself, but he toiled in the NHL as a defenseman.
Still almost a minute left in the Smolik penalty. The Sabres win the draw, but it ends up at center ice. Now Smolik on one point and Holzinger on the other. Holzinger gets checked. It's brought in by Kristich, taken away by Pekka. Pekka starting back, and on his pass missed everybody, and this is going to come back again as Modry is there to pick it up. That's icing. Sabres have to get all on the same page again.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't pass the puck well. You end up with a face-off in your own zone. Modry's from the Czech Republic. He began last season with the Ottawa Senators, and in 1995 was on a Calder Cup team in Albany.
Yeah, he was with New Jersey, New Jersey's organization, right, for Ottawa. Kristich is out on the face-off, but Burridge is there to give it to Holzinger. Still got a half a minute to work on this power play. Holzinger sliding it to Smolik, coming to center, whipping one off, and Fiset played it on the bounce and has to hang on to it because Burridge was there.
Yeah, Randy Burridge, though, made a good play. Sometimes you don't want to skate by the goaltender on a play like that and give him a chance to drop it and then have a defenseman fire it from the zone. So Burridge went right to the goaltender and forced him to hold on to the puck.
Pulled into Holzinger again. He leaves it back there. Now the pass to Holzinger, and it bounced away from him and is deflected out to center. Smolik being challenged by Kristich for Holzinger. Holzinger around to Smolik again. Only 10 seconds left in the penalty. Holzinger starting out. He'll come for Buffalo Sabres into the LA zone. Left there by Daw around behind the net. Slides back again. They whip it back into the corner. Pekka trying to keep it in. He does. Burridge to Daw. Daw looking for the open man to Burridge. Here's Pekka. Trying to slide it into the corner. It doesn't, but Pekka the shot. Rebound. Backhand it again, and Fiset hangs on just as the Kings come back to full strength. Well, the LA Kings foil the Buffalo Sabres. Best scoring opportunity of the period, and lead it by 2.
It's your place in the sun, not a mall for a zillion miles, and you're thinking about what else? Shopping! You can get up to $1,200 cash back or 3.9% APR financing on the rugged Chevy S10 pickup during the Make Your Money Count year-end event. S10 is tough. It has that can-do attitude, and I like that in a truck. Chevy dealers are making great offers on other cars and trucks, too. Now go on a big shopping spree.
See your local Chevrolet Geo dealers today.
Pretty good work by this line of Pekka, Burridge, and Daw as they work the puck in the zone, and Mike Pekka is going to end up with this scoring chance as Pekka gets himself into the open and then gets crunched from behind. Boy, that to me is a penalty. But a nice save, and we talked about how uncomfortable Fiset looked in the opening period. He doesn't look uncomfortable anymore.
Winging around on the boards now. Johnson can't get it out as Wilson pinches in. Sent back behind the net. Ray challenging. It ends up going as far as center ice. Wilson takes it away. And a bad pass to Galley because it jumped on him, but it's worked around for Groshek. Groshek, however, doesn't get it out. Does with a second effort. Opad lets it slide back in his own end to Norstrom. Norstrom just cleared it to center ice. Galley now flipping it to Groshek in over the line. Groshek getting around the outside. Back it comes to Wilson. He gunned it in wide of the net. This will be chopped back into the corner again. Johnson flinging it off the board. Sent away as far as center ice, and Wilson picks it off. Wilson now for Groshek. Groshek trying to get free at center. The pass to Audette too far. Goes down the ice, and Berg getting there first. That's icing against Buffalo.
Now Donald Audette scored the only Buffalo goal of tonight's game back in the first period, and a quick shot. He said he wanted to shoot high, and the goaltender Fiset tonight, he did that up underneath the crossbar to beat him. And Audette playing wing here with Holzinger and Dixon Ward. The Sabres with 18 shots on goal, in Los Angeles with 8, but the Kings have scored 3 goals on their 8 shots.
Bugner tapping it around on the boards. Audette trying to catch up with it. It comes out over the line as Siplikov cut in front of him. Hustling back there. Jitnik. Being watched by Kai Nurminen. Jitnik starting away. He gained center ice. In over the line. Took his shot. And that deflected wide of the net. Goes right out in front again. But the Kings, Nurminen starts back. Nurminen slipping it across. In over the line. Siplikov. Back to Nurminen. He couldn't reach it. Around on the boards. And Audette comes to center ice. He'll tip it ahead. Smolek getting it back. Smolek just giving it away to Bugner. Bugner in his own end to Schmeling. Got it to center ice to Ward. Now to Holzinger in over the line. Holzinger trying to get wide. Flip one that went wide of the net. Kept in by Buffalo again. Banked back in by Barnaby. Comes to the corner. Holzinger looking out in front. Drops it off back there. Ward turning. He flipped it in front. The shot went wide by Holzinger. Ends up back in the corner. Smolek trying to work it out. He gets checked. Ends up sliding to the other side. Shannon comes all the way in to keep it in there. Barnaby took it away. Holzinger looking in front. Schmeling couldn't control it. And it's sent away to center ice. Kings coming back. In over the line. Siplikov. Siplikov trying to go wide. His teammates are changing. Siplikov got it in front. The shot right on. Hashing the save. And now it's shoveled out to center ice. Moore couldn't catch up with it. Marstrom cutting it off the boards in the other direction. They knocked down at the bench and sent across to Schmeling. Schmeling tipping it in over the line again, and offside is the call here. And Barnaby is hammered into the boards by Stevens after the whistle had gone.
Well, Barnaby shot the puck in the net. Stevens didn't like it, and that's what this is all about. And Barnaby's got him going again. And this is what Larry Robinson discussed with his team this morning. He didn't want this to happen, and Stevens takes the penalty for 2 minutes for roughing up Matt Barnaby.
Well, Stevens is not exactly leading by example. He's wearing the C.
Exactly. Well, Barnaby shoveled the puck into the net after the whistle blew, and Stevens got upset about it. And the Sabres with a chance here to get back in the game on the power play with 9:40 to go in the second period, and Barnaby does a great job in that shift.
Ferraro is chewing away on referee Robert Tier. Sabres, who were unsuccessful moments ago on a power play, are granted another opportunity. Pekka is out with Daw and Burridge, Galley and Jitnik.
There's a hole in the Los Angeles net. That's just been tied up with some shoestring by the linesman. Skate place.
Pekka could not fish it free, and it'll be tapped down the ice. Jitnik picking it up back there, being chased behind the net, trying to get away from Bilesma. Goes to the pass at center. It's swept across to the other side, but banked off the boards on the Galley stick. Galley giving it to Burridge. Now to Daw, to Pekka. Pekka going wide. Pekka looking in front of the net, behind the net. Back it comes to Galley. Galley works it down low to Pekka again. Pekka swinging around. Got it back to Galley. Galley winds up, and that one deflects off the glass in the corner as LePerriere flopped in front of it. And around to the board. Shipnick keeping it in. Shipnick shovels it back into the corner. It slides behind the net. Nordstrom hooking it free. Burridge keeping it in. Came back now to Shipnick again. Shipnick winds up, fakes his shot to Galley. Clears it on the other side, and Burridge can't control it. Burridge has got it in the corner. He swings it back to Shipnick. He took a shot. He say kick that away. Knocked down in front of the net, and finally poked out to center. Things are changing. Sabres are making some changes too. The pass is cleared at center ice. Ward gets knocked down. Kristich tapping it in. 45 seconds remaining in the power play. Galley starting away. Galley hits the LA line. Leaves it to Ward. Ward trying to clear it through the middle, but it's broken up and scooped off the boards by Olchuk to center to Kristich. Kristich, however, cannot get around Plant. and just flips it in. Kristich is trying to get to the bench. Sabres start back with the pass across to Ward. Ward in over the line. He halts, and he dropped it back. A breakaway for Olchuk. Olchuk, a breakaway, took his shot and fired it over top of the net. He ran out in front again. Sabres start away. A dozen seconds left in the penalty. It's cleared back through the middle. Dumped in over the line, but Cole was picked out of the air with a high stick.
Manny Olchuk, a breakaway from center ice, could not beat the goaltender. As a matter of fact, he did not record a shot on goal. But Buffalo gives the puck away. When you try to make those passes to the middle of the ice, they are going to cost you. He tries to go high here on Dominik Hasek and misses the net. And I still believe that that's the best play on Hasek, though, is to shoot the puck in a breakaway. But you have to hit the net, Eddie.
Well, that reminds me of Joe Cowell. You remember him? Former draft choice of the Buffalo Sabres one night, and I think he was playing in Hershey. He had a breakaway, and he actually had a penalty shot. And he went in on goal, and he not only missed the net, he missed the glass. He shot it right into the crowd.
Surfboard Joe.
Yeah, Surfboard Joe, right. So time is running out on this power play chance for Buffalo. In fact, with only 10 seconds remaining now as they drop the puck, the Sabres will have to hustle to make something happen. To Shannon at center. He'll scoop one into the corner. Ray races in there. Berg got it around on the boards. Schmelik holding it in. Try to dump it back again, but the Kings are back at full strength. And a pass to Stevens too far. It goes down the ice. Hasek plays it around. Grosek got it out to center. Boucher coming back with it. He has the third LA goal in this game and the only one here in the second period. Stevens in over the line. Stevens finally took his shot. Hasek making the save, and Shannon scoops it up and then gets tripped up behind the net by Broughton. Worked around on the boards. Grosek muscles it out to center, trying to get it to Ray. The pass went behind him. Tip back to center ice. Schmelik then loses control. Kings trying to get away. Smith knocked off stride. There's going to be a penalty coming up here to Buffalo. Kings in possession of the puck. Boucher flipping it ahead, and it's finally picked up by Shannon. But it'll be a hooking call against the Sabres. They trail by 2.
Joe Montana, the premier quarterback of the 1980s, owning 4 Super Bowl rings. Dan Marino, he's broken all the major NFL passing records and still going. They're both headed to the Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Now available for the first time is the quarterback series of gold trading cards. Marino and Montana have both worn league MVP crowns and are honored with these beautifully detailed 23-karat gold limited edition trading cards. These gold cards honoring the careers of football's greatest quarterbacks of the 80s and 90s are available individually or together. You get your choice of the Marino or Montana gold card, each with its own protective acrylic holder and official certificate of authenticity for only $29.95 each. Hurry, supply is limited. Here's how to order.
To order your gold cards, call 1-800-939-7567 or send check or money order for $29.95 each plus $3.95 shipping and handling to SSCA Quarterback Legends, P.O. Box 2648, Grand Central Station, New York, New York. New York residents add sales tax.
L.A. will go on their first power play of the night as Schmelik goes 2 minutes for hooking. And the Kings power play just 12.7%, which is 22nd overall. Some young fans here tonight at the Great Western Forum.
Boucher retreats into his own end. He'll drop it off back there, and the Kings will reverse it and try to get something going. The pass coming through the middle to Stevens. Swings it in over the line. Galley got in front of him, took him off stride, and it's ripped right back down the ice again. Boucher back after it. Now he'll swing around and lead it away. Philip Boucher getting it up ahead. Ferraro scooping it in over the line. It's banked around behind the net. Ferraro lets it go to Stevens. Came back to the blue line. Pekka steals it free. 3-on-2 Buffalo. In over the line. Pekka got it in front. The shot scores! Randy Burridge, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. He just ripped it home. And the Sabres with a short-handed goal close it to 3-2. Wow, did he smoke that baby.
That was a great play, though, at the Buffalo blue line. Here it is right here. as the defense pinches in. The Sabres come up with the puck, and watch Randy Burridge get in position to pull the trigger. And what a shot that was. That was an unstoppable slap shot by Burridge, and the Sabres score shorthanded.
Still 1:19 left in the Schmelik penalty.
Buffalo goal, a shorthanded goal. The 7th goal and a
1-goal game.
Scored by number 12.
Holzinger is tapping it down the ice. That'll be recovered back there by Modric. Becca getting the assist on the play. The center ice flipped ahead in over the Buffalo line this time. Cleared across ice. He's trying to come back. Fed in by Siplikov. Around to the other side to Kristich. Kristich banks it back into the corner again. Kept into Nurminen. He wheels it back to the point. Kings putting the pressure on. Cleared right beside the net again. Poked out in front, but not out. Now it's taken away, and Holzinger takes his time and just eases it down the ice. 40 seconds left in the power play for the Kings. LA coming right back again. Up to center. Modric flipping it in over the line. That's knocked down. Hasek scoops it into the corner. Tapped around on the boards again. Not out. Kings keeping it in there. Trying to put on some more pressure. Siplikov taking a whack at it. Came in front of the net, but it's stolen away, and the Sabres will bring it back. Barnaby, the long shot from center. Deflected into the corner and is recovered by Modric. He gets it around on the boards. LA starting out again. Cross ice pass. Stevens going after it. Just whipped it in. Buffalo returning to full strength. Less than 5 to go here in the second period. Cleared by Boucher to center ice, but he manages to recover the puck and tap it right back in again off the corner glass. LaPerriere after it, and Shitnik took a run at him. They'll jam in behind the net. Shitnik and LaPerriere. LaPerriere still got the puck. LaPerriere cleared it in front. Deflected wide of the net by Broughton. Now tapped back to the blue line. It comes out over the line. Chipped right back in again. Plant deals it ahead to Barnaby with Burridge. Barnaby in over the line. Barnaby spinning again. Tried to drop it off, and it deflects and goes to center. Barnaby picks it up once more. And he charges after it again as he bumps with LaPerriere, and they have words. Nose to nose. And LaPerriere and Barnaby are separated, and Barnaby's getting the penalty. Barnaby dropped his gloves and his stick, and he's getting the penalty.
Well, what goes around comes around. There's the evidence. If Matthew holds on to his gloves and stick, there's no penalty. And remember, we mentioned LaPerriere is the Los Angeles edition of Matt Barnaby, and he draws Barnaby into the penalty.
The Kings will go on the power play after Randy Burridge makes it a 1-goal game, whipping it upstairs.
Last year, for the first time in history, winter storms stopped everything cold. Corporate America, the United States Post Office, even our government. Everything that is except Da Vinci's Pizzeria.
This is crazy.
Which had enough sense to drive the unstoppable legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee. And with package values like these, you should too. After all, history has a way of repeating itself.
What a lousy tip.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Now here's how the play developed up in the right up by the benches, and LaPerriere bumps Matthew Barnaby, and here they go. Now they're going to have a talk. Barnaby says, all right, let's fight. Drops his gloves, stick, and the whistle blew, and Barnaby's in the box.
Yep. He's got a few that way, and he got it himself that time. Center ice. Swung back by Broughton into his own end. 4 minutes remaining in the period. The Kings up by 1. Up to center ice again. It'll be tipped to the line and over. Oh, this was offside and wasn't called. That wasn't even close. That's awful.
Now, Kevin Stevens was at least 2 strides inside the Buffalo blue line.
Mike Civic blew it. LA coming back again. Dealt right back through the middle again. Brought in by Ferraro. He'll leave it to Stevens on his backhand. Swings behind the net. Stevens rolling it back to the point. Kings with the man advantage to Boucher. His long shot, and that goes up Pekka into Souvenir Country. And Dennis Williams, where are you?
Right down here in the Zamboni entrance. Coming up in our second intermission, Curtis Brown will be our guest. He's not playing, but he is on the trip. We'll also check out some scores from around the National Hockey League. And Rick and Jim will take a look back at this second period. Let's head back upstairs.
1:17 left in the Barnaby penalty. 3:24 to go in the period.
And I just want to mention that here's that offside we were talking about. Kevin Stevens is way in across the line. That was not close. And sometimes a player skates in front of the linesman.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't see it, but I can't imagine him not calling that.
If he saw it.
If he saw it.
Here's Broughton keeping it in. He steered it into the corner. Galley after it. Galley chopping it around on the boards. Broughton holding it in. Into Ferraro again. Left behind the net. Galley swings it up ahead to Moore. Takes his time. Clears the zone. A minute left in the power play. Olchuk had a hat trick in Los Angeles last game against Vancouver a couple of nights ago. Into Boucher in the corner. Shannon got in front of him. Galley hooks it around to Shannon, and Shannon will send it down the ice. Vissé coming out. He entertained ideas of throwing it up the middle, but his mates were changing. Los Angeles with a pass through the middle again. Ferraro got it in over the line. Turning around, Nurminen working it down low again. It goes behind the net. Burridge knocks it to the corner to Shannon. His backhand high in the air, and he rolls it down the ice again. Sabres change up. Burridge going in deep. This time the Kings were on the power play. Burridge scored. There's LA. Modric feeding it up on the wing. Tipped in over the line, but Shitnik is there to clear it right back out again. Now set to Siplikov. He can't get anywhere. Burridge has the puck, taps it in, and the Sabres return to full strength. Modric rolling around behind the net. Got it up on the wing. Kristich gets checked. Shitnik takes it back. Shitnik clearing it across ice for Audette. Audette tried to cut around the outside. Modric has the puck. Modric fired it back through the middle again. LA recovering. Nurminen bouncing it in over the line. That one will go right to Schmeling. He helped it on the wing, and it's cleared away to Holzinger. He's got speed and over the line. Holzinger busting down low, taps it in behind the goal. Ward couldn't catch up with it. Ward keeping it in, however, got it back to Audette with a shot right on, and he's saying the save, and then Audette gets flattened, and that brings some more folks in there.
That was a great job of forechecking, though, by Buffalo. It was Dixon Ward who prevented Los Angeles from moving the puck from the zone. Donald Audette took the quick shot, and the rebound that was there momentarily. Here's the play right here by Ward as he prevents the puck from moving out of the zone and makes this quick little pass to Audette. Fired the wrist shot, and Boucher knocked them to the ice. Sabres, when they get their skating legs going, and just give the opposition defense fits as they use their speed and quickness to get in there and just harass them. And the other thing it does, even if they do move the puck sometimes, they're under pressure because Buffalo is pressuring them and they make bad passes.
Held into Wilson. Swings it to the other side. The shot by Shannon is kicked away. Kings recovering, and Stevens lurches away to center ice. Pulled up one in. Left back there for Hasek. Cleared ahead to Moore. He can't get it out. LePerriere in the corner. He gets checked. Boucher holding it in. Boucher then checked by Moore. They chop at it again, and it's banked by Barry Moore to center ice. Less than a minute to go in the period. Moore heading to the LA line. Couldn't control the puck, and finally it's Wilson whipping one in. Boucher trapping it back there for Smolik. Held into Moore in front and fired wide by Plant, and there's a penalty coming up here to LA. A roping call going to Smolik.
And again, it's on Matthew Barnaby as Barnaby is down and not getting up. Ted Nolan's made a change on this line. He's got Barry Moore playing with Barnaby and Plant instead of Grosek. Here comes Barnaby around behind the net and just runs into Smolik. And there's the roughing penalty as Smolik, 2 minutes.
Well, I'll bet you Larry Robinson is ready to hang Doug Smolik.
I know Kevin Stevens, who got back at Barnaby, or got upset at Barnaby earlier in this period. will be okay, and Smolik's in the box.
Of course he will.
So Barnaby is involved tonight. He's got them going, and that's exactly what Larry Robinson did not want to happen in this game. One of the things he didn't want to happen. And he took a punch in the nose for his troubles.
Well, Smolik, in terms of the alphabet, would be at the bottom of the Los Angeles lineup, and he might be near the bottom of Robinson's heart by now. Sabres trying to take advantage of this to tie the game. Shitnik working it into Pekka. Pekka chops at it, gets it again, and feeds it to the corner. Burridge tapping it around to Daw. Daw swings it back. Kept in. The shot by Galley knocked down, and he can't control the rebound off the LA player, and the Sabres have to regroup. Only 20 seconds left in the period, and Pekka couldn't quite reach it. Kings will sweep it out of the zone, and back there is Shitnik. He'll come away again. Shitnik into LA territory. Whips it around on the board, spins, falls down, couldn't keep it in, and it's gunned all the way down the ice and held off into the corner, and that'll do it. That'll cook the second period. So the teams each getting on the board in that period, and LA still leading by 1.
Yeah, and still a pretty good second period for the Buffalo Sabres, as they have the edge in shots on goal and the scoring chances, but not on the scoreboard.
The Sabres have 10 more shots than the Kings do in this game, but the LA Kings have 1 more goal. With a period at least remaining here at the Great Western Forum. Los Angeles 3, Buffalo 2 on Empire.
He's one of baseball's latest heroes both on and off the field. Setting the Ironman record of most consecutive games played, Cal Ripken Jr. has shown why he's destined for baseball's Hall of Fame. Now you can share a piece of this legend with the Ironman Collector Watch. This elegantly styled stainless steel watch is a unique limited edition collectible. This fashionable watch has an attractive micron-plated brass plate for the hour dial, with the date Cal Ripken Jr. broke Lou Gehrig's record and the watch's collector number on the back. It all comes inside this unique leather-like baseball case and includes a matching certificate of authenticity. This valuable collectible will be sold during this TV introductory offer for only $69.95 on a first-come, first-served basis.
To order your Cal Ripken watch for 3 payments of $24.63, call 1-800-514-4334 or send check or money order for $69.95 plus $3.95 shipping and handling to Cal Ripken Watch, P.O. Box 2648, Grand Central Station, New York, New York, or call 1-800-514-4334.
Sabres hockey is brought to you in part by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By Discover, it pays to discover. By Tops Friendly Markets, Tops never stops saving you more. And by Volkswagen, on the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. And look at the Cigna numbers again. The Sabres handily outshooting the opposition, and boy, oh boy, we know that doesn't happen very often. And the Sabres are handling the LA Kings in every department except for the most important one.
Yeah, on the board.
Doug Smolik still has 1 minute and 18 seconds left to serve in his roughing penalty to begin this period.
Now, Kevin Stevens was telling me this morning, this is very simple. He thinks that this game is the most important game of the season for Los Angeles. They need to build off of that 6-2 win against Vancouver and put some games together.
And the Kings immediately with Vopat sending it down the ice. Left back there for Alexei Zhitnik. Wouldn't he love to get the tying goal? He'll lug it himself coming through center. Hits the LA line. Swings it now to Ward. Ward ripping it around to Audette on the other side. Audette clear right in the goal crease. Ward back to the point. Galley the shot. Fise boots that away. Ward fishes it free again. Here's Ward swinging it in for Audette. Audette trying to get it to Ward. Jams it free. Sends it back to Galley. Over to Zhitnik. Zhitnik takes a peek. He swings it along the wall. Plant's got it there. Plant leaving it to Audette. Looks in front of the net. Galley a backhand. He ripped it wide. Shitnik hustles after it to hold it in there and does. Shovels it free again. They'll jam it around on the boards. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Poking back at it on the corner. Audette gets in there. So does Ward. Audette knocked down, came in front. Now back to Shitnik. Shitnik leaving it to Ward. Tried to clear it in front. Shitnik winds up again. Didn't get the shot away. And it's cleared to the blue line, but not out. And now it squirts up in the air and goes out of play. Slide downstairs now and see what Dennis Williams has.
Thanks very much, guys. They wanted to put, I talked to head coach Ted Nolan. He said he really wanted to put the pressure on the Kings on that power play, and obviously they did that right off the hop. He said it was important for them to keep the momentum going early. They had the momentum late in that second period and wanted to keep it going at the start of the third period. Let's head back upstairs.
Yeah, for sure Buffalo did have the pressure on, but they didn't shoot the puck. They had a couple of opportunities to shoot and passed them up. And still, as we check the clock, 6 minutes, or I beg your pardon, 6 seconds left in the penalty to Schmolik.
And it's going to end up in the neutral area anyway, as Shannon will rattle it right back in again. And the Kings return to full strength, but it's hooked free in front of the net. They score! Awesome! Jason Daw taps it in just after LA comes back to full strength, and the Buffalo Sabres have tied the game at 3 on a nifty passing play.
Randy Burridge made the play inside the zone, up along the boards. Here's what makes this possible. As Burridge to Pekka, and Pekka slides it across to Jason Daw, who taps it into the empty net. But this was Randy Burridge all the way. What a great play. And look at that pass. The soft hands of Pekka as he laid that puck perfectly to Jason Daw.
Shannon comes away to center ice now. Pulling away from Smith. Worked it up on the wing. Deflected in. And Smolik going after it. Pekka had a piece of him. Kept into Shannon to Pekka. Back for Daw. Couldn't control it. Two Kings collide. Now it's worked by Modry to center ice. Sent off into the corner. Shannon catching up with it. Shannon scoops it around the boards. Burridge plucking it free. Burridge trying to roll it ahead to Pekka. He'll charge after it along with Smolik. They go behind the net together. Smolik gets checked back there. It's kept in, knocked free. Burridge has his stick tied up, still spinning after the puck, and finally gets pulled away from it. Ferraro coming to center. He tips it over to Modry. Modry then got out of the way, and it's sent back in the other direction. Well, how could they call that one, I see?
I have no idea. That's what it is, and everyone's sort of, I think, wandering down on the ice.
Well, I am totally perplexed.
Here's a play. There's a line change underway, and I mean, there are a couple of players could have played that puck easily and just skated by it. And icing is called in a face-off to the right of Hasek.
Well, the LA Kings treated the puck like it had leprosy. Yeah. Nobody wanted to touch it.
Well, Jason Daw ties the score for Buffalo. Randy Burridge and Mike Pekka draw the assists early in the third. Boy, that's the way to do it. When you're down by one, come out and score right away.
Well, they're going to try it again here as Holzinger will now take the face-off against Nurminen. Kristich gets tossed. Stands in front of the net, taken away. Shipnick trying to bring it out to Audette, and does. Audette chipping one in. Into the corner, Ward scoops it behind the net. Here's Audette, rolled it out in front. Holzinger racing after it again. Back for Shipnick, took his shot. Fisey the save, and he'll hang on to it, and then Audette gets flattened. And now we get the sticks coming up. It started out as Berg came in there to take down Audette.
Well, if you're going to go after that loose puck in the crease, expect to be hit. Watch the great job by Donald Audette, who is just standing off to the right and couldn't get to the puck. As Fisey quickly gathered it in for the faceoff, but a good job by Audette. Good try.
Sabres out shooting the Kings 25-12 in this game.
Audette has one of the goals tonight for Buffalo, the opening goal back in the first period. That made it LA 2, Buffalo 1. Sabres have never led in this game. They've trailed throughout. Lundy have managed to tie it up here early in the third.
Barnaby keeping it in, took his shot. Fisset got an arm on that. It's scooped off the boards to center by LaPerriere. Shitnik back after it, rips it up ahead. Barnaby tapping one in over the line. Nordstrom works it across, now up to Stevens. He'll get it as far as center, dribble it into the corner, charging back after it, Schmeling. Schmeling lost control of it, and it goes to Moore. He'll use the boards to send it to center ice. Tapped right back in again, a bouncer. Hashing had to be careful with that one. Scoops it around for Shitnik. Shitnik knocking it free, and he leads the rush back. 4-on-2. Buffalo up on the wing, in over the line to Moore. The shot. Oh, and he gunned that one high off the glass. Kings coming back 2-on-1. LaPerriere in over the line. He shoots, he scores. LaPerriere on the short side, and the LA Kings get the lead back again. 4-3.
Shitnik led the rush down the ice for Buffalo. There's nothing wrong with that. But one of the forwards has got to back him up. Here we go. And all forwards caught for Buffalo along with the defense. There's Richard Schmeling. And this is a shot by LaPerriere that goes into the net. And the Kings have their lead back.
It looked as if he may have banked it right in off the goalpost. So Buffalo has to climb out of another hole. Here's Johnson and Ray mixing it up at center ice. Ray's got the puck in over the line. Ray knocked it in front. Fisset kicking it away. Brochik trying to keep it in, but it's cleared out to center. Johnson after it. And Bugner got cut him off. Brochik is back there. Brochik being chased around by Potomski. Swung off the boards to Primo. Primo starting away to center. He gets knocked down by Johnson. Ray comes over to bump with him. And they'll jam there and do some shoving and pushing, but I don't think you want to take a bad penalty at this point in the game. Neither team.
Now Ian LaPerriere gives the Los Angeles Kings a 4-3 lead with 16:06 to go here in the second period.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Brinson. And I'm Howard Simon. And we're the hosts of Fan TV. Watch what our TV can do.
Don't you want your TV to look like this? Fan TV, weekdays at 4:30 on the Empire Sports Network.
Fan TV, your voice,
your choice.
Off at center ice. The Kings up by one. Shannon or Schmeling. Schmeling pulling away, getting it up on the wing to Burridge. He'll tap one into the corner. Daw trying to get there first. Can't do it. It's flipped free and ends up at center ice on Randy Burridge's stick. To Schmeling. He just gave it away, and that'll be fired in over top of the net by Olchuk. Shannon picks it up to Schmeling again. Working it up on the wing. Buffalo trying to come back. Burridge flings one to the corner. Daw racing after it. Berg got it off the boards, though, and sends it to center. Shannon scoops it free. Olchuk put it right onto the stick of Schmeling to Shannon. Shannon tipping it ahead on the wing. Back to center ice to Pekka. Hits the LA line. Gets checked right there, and a delayed offside. Olchuk fires it to center. That's knocked down by Burridge. Burridge to Pekka. To Burridge. Took his shot. Fisset knocked it away. Kept in with Pekka again. Pekka cleared it back to the point. It's chipped in along the wall. Audette charges after it. Knocked down by Berg. The Sabres holding it in. Left in behind the net. Boucher got it around to the boards. It went to center. Shannon has to wait for his teammates to clear the zone. He eases it back in and heads off for a rest. Rattled around on the boards again, and the Kings just clear it through center ice. Over 5 minutes gone here in the third period. Worked ahead to center. Now the pass across to Audette, but he can't corral it. Nordstrom taking it back. Up to Siplikov. He gets pelted. Brought back in over the line, however, by Kristich. Took his shot. Hashik the save. Kristich after it again. Got it out in front. They score! That one gunned in from the point. Mopat let it go, and the Kings have increased their margin once again to 2 goals. They're up 5-3. Bopat set up the first goal of the game, and now he gets one.
Well, a quick wrist shot that flies high into the net. And Dominik Hasek appeared to be distracted as players skated in front of the net. But a great shot by Vopat after Kristich was beaten by Dominik Hasek. And the Kings have their 2-goal lead back with 14:21 to go here in the third period. His first goal of the season.
Stevens giving it to Smolik. He'll work it over on the wing. Tapped ahead by Modry. Bugner trying to catch up with it behind the net. He fans on it. Goes back after it again. Stevens watching him. They do some wrestling, and the Kings control the puck again. Galley comes over to take out his man, LaPerriere. Stevens trying to tap it in front. Barry Moore coming away from Buffalo. The long pass in over the line. Barnaby hustling after it. Bisset way out of the net. Bisset got it on the boards, but not out. Plant kept it in, and now Smolik gets rid of it through center ice. Bugner hustling back there. Bugner turning, finding Galley. Touch pass ahead to Barnaby, but he couldn't control it, and the Kings kick it away again. Tomsky ripped it up on the wing. It'll slide all the way back to Berg. Berg sending it back in his own end, and a pass through the middle to Matt Johnson. Johnson to the Buffalo line and over. He's pumped by Bugner. Came in front. They shot the rebound again. Johnson trying to get it in there. And a lot of pushing and shoving going on now. Johnson and Galley get all tangled up, and Ray is also involved off to the side. Peace apparently is going to prevail, at least for the moment.
Boy, Dominik Hasek with a couple of big saves that time as he shut the door on the short side. 13:18 to go in regulation. A 2-goal lead for Los Angeles. Here's the scoring chances, as Hasek made 2 of the saves from close in. And the faceoff will be in the Buffalo zone to the right of Hasek. 18 shots on goal tonight for Dominik, but 5 goals in the net.
Moving in to take this draw against Primo. Chop away at it. Smelik coming up with the puck. Feeding it out as far as center. Primo carries on to Grosek. He rips his shot, and that one goes off a stick and right up into the crowd again. Boucher got his lumber in front of it.
Now Mike Grosek has been shifted down to this line of Primo, Rob Ray. Grosek normally plays on the wing with Derek Plant and Matt Barnaby, but Ted Nolan making some changes tonight, at least on those 2 lines. And I think the line out there now, Pekka, Burridge, and Jason Daw, they have been the best threesome for Buffalo. Burridge with a goal, that was shorthanded. Jason Daw scored a goal. Pekka with a couple of nice assists.
Pekka trying to kick it free now. It's chipped out to center ice where Galley collects it. To Pekka. Jumped away from him. Now fed ahead. Knocked down by Zhitnik. Zhitnik squeezes it to Daw. He can't control the puck. Pekka couldn't get it, and it ends up at center ice. Galley's got it again. For Pekka. Goes swinging across to Burridge, and it ends up on Pekka's stick again. He'll flip one in. Say leaving it there. Tapped around on the boards, and it makes its way to the Buffalo line. Galley hustling after it. Deflected free for Zhitnik. Zhitnik trying to pull away at center, bothered by Olchuk. And here's Galley swinging it to Daw. Daw gets in over the line. He gets squeezed out, but he works it down low, and then he takes another belt from Nordstrom. Chopped around on the boards and picked up by the King Smith, who works it out to center ice. Zhitnik will have to hustle back after it. The teams are changing. Daw swings it up ahead. Pekka couldn't get anywhere. Here's Zhitnik trying to get free. Pekka jammed it in over the line, but the Kings recover again with Modry. Out of Nurminen hitting the Buffalo line. Just leaves it back there, and it's taken away by the Sabres. Shannon steering it to Holzinger. Holzinger, bothered from behind, flips one in. Holzinger mixing it up with Modry, and they're still mixing it up along the wall. Modry and Holzinger are grappling in along behind the net, and the linesmen are quick to get in there.
Now, there was a nice article a couple of days ago in the USA Today on Brian Holzinger, and he was talking. He said one of the big differences between the American Hockey League and the National Hockey League is fighting through checks. Well, he did a great job of fighting through the check on that occasion, but we'll go to the penalty box.
M&T Bank's Big Four basketball. If you're looking for a game, this is where it happens. On January 14th, catch a dynamic doubleheader as Canisius takes on Manhattan and Niagara faces Big East powerhouse St. John's and their standout juniors Philippe Lopez and Zendon Hamilton. Intense rivalries, high-flying basketball action now at the Marine Midland Arena. And this time they're inviting one more team to join them. Yours, the Big Four pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, 4 popcorn for only $40. So get ready because it's game time. Call 855-4444 for your tickets today. Presented by M&T Bank.
Roughing penalties to Modry of Los Angeles and Holzinger of Buffalo. So the teams will skate far side with 11:43 to go here in regulation time. Los Angeles with a 5-3 lead.
And Buffalo has battled back to tie this game, only to have the Kings score the last 2 goals. Let's take a look at the NOCO Express Shop out-of-town scoreboard. Well, the good news for Buffalo is that Hartford also lost tonight in Calgary. I say also lost. This game is far from over. There's almost 12 minutes left. Back to Shannon. Rips a shot. Woody just missed. Schmelik lets it go. That one doesn't get through. He loads up again. Schmelik took another whack at it. Went behind the net. Audette hooked it out in front, but it's taken away by Broughton. And now it's scooped by the Kings down the ice, but they're ruling it deflected, and there'll be no icing. Each team a man short. Schmelik bringing it away again. Shannon goes with them. Schmelik tipping it in over the line. This one they're calling on an offside.
You see, that's a tough play for a forward because he doesn't know what the heck Richard Schmelik is going to do. Is he going to shoot it in or is he going to carry it? And Schmelik just continued to carry it, and Buffalo ended up going offside.
Experience savings in numbers with group sales programs. Get 20 or more people together and get great discounts on Sabre tickets. Group tickets on sale now if you call 855-4444 for more information. Puck taken by Nurminen, or Nordstrom, I beg your pardon. Tap back behind the net again. Nordstrom finally coming up with it. Feed it up on the wing. Sent away to center ice. Galley comes across to take out Kristich. Hashik working it to Groshek. Groshek starting back again. He swings it in over the line. Barnaby then loses control. The Kings coming right back. Away to center. Galley comes into Seplikov. LA changing. Shipnick to see if he can make something happen. He hits the LA line and over. Shipnick looking for a trailer, elects to shoot and fired it way wide. Comes around now, taken by Ferraro. Ferraro swinging it back in over the line. And the shot is handled by Hashik and held. As it was Molik who let it go.
A nice 3-on-2 break for Los Angeles. Schmolik, the defenseman, joining the forwards to take the scoring opportunity. What they do is, if you see on a 3-on-2, you try to set up a 2-on-1 against the one defenseman. The Kings accomplish that and get this scoring chance. You know, I must admit, partner, again, I have been bribed tonight. I've accepted a bribe here in Los Angeles, a bottle of fine California wine.
Have you no shame?
No shame at all. I'm for sale, so.
Boucher now trying to work it up on the wing. He does, but it's cleared to an open wing. And Smolik is back after it. Halfway through the third period. LA up by 2. Sent to center ice. Schmelik trying to catch up, but after it, Ferraro, he drops it off to Stevens in the corner. He gets squeezed out. Stevens and Shannon poking at one another. Ferraro trying to get away from Schmelik, who's all over him. Ferraro runs into Stevens, but Stevens keeps it in there. His shot, and that one is popping out of play. And then Ferraro and Schmelik are going to have to be separated. And while all that was going on, the penalized players returned.
Now, Kevin Stevens trying to find his scoring touch. He did score a goal tonight, but he has only 6 goals in the season. He had 4 straight seasons with the Pittsburgh Penguins of 40 goals and 86 points, 54 goals, 123 points, 55 goals, 111 points, and then 41 goals and 88 points. But he has not been able to find his scoring touch here with Los Angeles Kings. Earlier in the year, actually, Larry Robinson, as you look at the shots on goal, and the Kings won better here in the third than Buffalo, but Larry Robinson actually sent to Pittsburgh for some old footage of Kevin Stevens when he was scoring a lot of goals, and they reviewed it, and they said one of the things that he did there was go to the net better.
Well, shot rolled around on the boards. The linesman picking himself up off the ice, Mike Civic. Now the shot right on, rebound, jam just wide of the net. Kings recover, and it's tapped out to center ice. Schmelik knocking it down, flipped it in the other directions, got it again. Schmelik in over the line to Holzinger. Holzinger tried to flip it in front, but the Kings break it up and bring it back again. Nordstrom, the Buffalo territory, tapping it around behind the net. Catching up with it, Nermanen. He gives it away. Shitnik picks it up. Here's Shitnik looking for somebody to get the puck to. Can't do it, and spins around and tries it again. This time he sails through center on the wing to Audette, but it was in his skates. Ward squeezed it in over the line, but this is going to be called on the offside. The LA Kings have the lead by 2 on Empire.
Here we go. It's time to tickle these 88. McDonald's double cheeseburgers are just 88. With the deal this good, don't be late. McDonald's double cheeseburgers are just 88. Only 88 cents. They taste so great.
Roll into Mickey D's for 88-cent double cheeseburgers. And for breakfast, try a sausage McMuffin with egg. Also 88 cents each.
When McDonald's double cheeseburgers are just 88. Now it's time for me to say, have you had your break today? Woo!
8:42 left on the clock. Stevens and Barnaby having a little chat off to the side as the puck is kicked in over the line. Smolek taking it back. Dump it off, but it's melted out by LaPerriere. Tried to get it back, hooks at it again, and swings it into the corner. Smolek moving back behind the net, feeds it up, and it's sent away to center ice. Galley is there to take it back for Buffalo. Challenged by Broughton. Smolek knocks it in the air. Barnaby picks it free and dribbles it all the way back where Hasek will give it to Galley. Galley swinging around behind his own net. Moore's pass high in the air. That one is taken back again by Doug Smolek. Working it for Stevens. Stevens away to center ice. He'll just ease it in, and he'll head off for a rest. Galley scoops it free to Bugner. Bugner turning around in his own end across to Galley. Up on the wing it comes to Barnaby. Barnaby hits the LA line and over, trying to bust wide, trying to tip it into the corner. Now eventually does. It slides around behind the net. Holzinger hustling around there after it. He takes out his check, but it slides down the ice as Pekka, I beg your pardon, came back to hit Popat. Down at the line by Burridge, swinging it across ice. Pekka's got it again. In over the line. He couldn't get it to Dawn. It's flipped away to center, and the Kings start back, trying to set up a 2-on-1. Olchek dropping it off, and a shot. Hasek kicked that away. Shannon chase after it now. Poked it off the boards, but not out. Rolled free, and finally the Sabres scoop it away to Pekka in over the line. Pekka trying to go in on goal. He gets rolled off the puck from behind by Nordstrom. They do some wrestling in the corner, and the puck comes free and goes down the ice, and Pekka just nailed Nordstrom as they separated. Shannon smacking it right back in again. Nordstrom recovering for LA. He sends it off the glass. That'll end up at center ice on Schmelik's stick to Shitnik. Shitnik drilling it right back in again, but the clock is definitely becoming a factor in this game now. 6.5 to go in the third. Rolled down the ice. Gun wide of the net by Nermanen. Rolled around on the boards again. Ward got it to center. picked out of the air by Audette, but then Berg knocked it down. Nurmanen sends it to Boucher to Aki Berg. He'll just bounce one in that Hasek handles back there for Schmeling. Down to the boards, but kept in by Siplikov. Siplikov dropping it off as the Kings cycle around, and they shot, they score! Well, whether Hasek was screened on that, I don't know, but Nurmanen let it go, and the Kings have came another step closer to putting this one away, a 6-3 lead. And this is not a night to remember for Dominik Hasek.
Now this puck, I believe, is deflected in front of the net. The Buffalo Sabres turn the puck over. And just a quick shot. I believe it was Kristich who redirected the puck by Dominik Hasek. And if it is, Kristich has his second of the night, and both have been on deflections.
Now the puck is cleared by Smolik out as far as center ice. It'll be jammed to the corner. Potomski's shot deflects, and that goes out of play with less than 6 minutes left on the clock. The Kings, their largest lead in the game, up by 3.
And the difference tonight has been in goaltending. The Sabres have not received good goaltending, and it's not very often that we can say that this year. But tonight it hasn't been there. As the Kings have taken 21 shots, the Sabres 30.
Nurmanen and Siplikov getting the assists on the Kristich goal. A long shot that Hasek knocks to the side. Fed around to the boards. Grosek trying to get away at center, and he does. Brought in over the line now with Primo going wide. Primo behind the net. He bounces off Smolik, and they do some shoving. Ray gets involved. Now kept in by Buffalo. Came back in front again. And the Kings finally break it up and take it away to center. Swung down the ice. Charging back after it, Shannon. He'll tip it free to Galley. Galley starting away with a pass on the wing to Ray, but it was in skates, and he couldn't get anywhere. Ray gets all tangled up again. Finally, Shannon hammers one in and heads off for a rest. Kings to bring it back out again for Stevens. Stevens is flipping it in over the line. That goes behind the net. Hasek leaving it back there and taken by Zhitnik. He'll drop it off in the corner to Wilson. Up on the wing, a long pass through the middle for Barnaby. Barnaby bumping with Nordstrom and ends up going to the goaltender Fiset. Banked on the boards by Moore and back down the ice again, and Hasek is going to have to handle this one. Barnaby turning again at his own line. He squeezes it back through the middle, and the backhand will be sent in wide of the LA net. Aki Berg with it again. LA just happy now to clear it to the neutral area and to sit on this 3-goal lead, and who can blame them? Back in the corner, Berg tapping it away. Kings recover again with a dangerous pass through the middle, but it ends up deflecting in behind the LA bench. Los Angeles 6, Buffalo 3, late in the third on Empire.
It's the story of Kyle Brady, and he found the perfect way to make a call. He told Eric Metcalf, who phoned Wisconsin, who dialed Jerry Ball, spread the word to Curtis Martin. Bryce Pop shared the news with Greg Jones. Last but not least was their friend Chris Carter. 1-800-COLLECT was used on all the phones, and they saved a bunch. They saved a bunch. With 1-800-COLLECT, they saved a bunch.
Up to 44%.
They're going to drop this puck in Los Angeles territory, although Ray Ferraro doesn't seem too happy about what is transpiring at the moment. And he gets tangled up with Pekka. Pekka trying to keep it in and does to Galley. That'll be rolled back into the corner. Burridge hustling after it and holding it in there. In the corner again, Burridge picks it up, trying to keep it in. Took his shot, but it's knocked down. He's got it again. There's Burridge, still with the puck in front. The backhand, Fiset the save, and then he has to cover up and hang on to the rebound.
Randy Burridge has had an excellent game tonight for Buffalo. This whole line continues to work hard, and as a consequence, they're rewarded with scoring chances. They scored twice tonight already, but look at this work by Burridge as he goes to the backhand and gets this scoring chance. That's a veteran play, wasn't it? He didn't panic or give the puck away. He just knew that he had time and knew what he had to do.
Berg now for the Kings, squeezing it up on the wing. Will be sent through the middle. Bugner takes it back, but his pass hit a leg, and now Olchuk swinging it in over the line, and this is way offside as Brad Smith was almost to the Buffalo net.
Brad Smith was traded over from the Florida Panthers for a third-round draft pick. A defensive forward for Los Angeles. The Kings are 3 minutes 35 seconds away from their second consecutive win here at the Great Western Forum. For the second consecutive time, they will score at least 6 goals in a game.
That many against Vancouver. Hooked high in the air. This makes its way into the LA corner. Smolik after it. He ripped it around behind the net. Gets it right back again. Smolik using the boards, tipping it to the line, and Shannon had it bounce off him and back in again, and they will call this offside, and we're down to just a little over 3 minutes left on the clock here in the third.
Buffalo back in action tomorrow night at the Duck Pond in Anaheim.
As a matter of fact, the Sabres are going to bus to Anaheim after this game tonight. It's about 3/4 of an hour. Smolik. Ripped off the boards as far as center. Ward chops it right back in again. And Smolik again working it up the middle. Siplikov bounced by Shannon right at center ice. Audette took a hack at it. They all chop at it along the wall. Shannon goes down, and here's Siplikov coming in over the line. He faked his shot, going in with a shot right on. Hashing the save. Rebound knocked down in front of the net. Tipped in again. Back into the corner again, and Wilson comes up with it, but he can't get it out. Kings keeping it in, and now it comes off of Kristich to center ice. Smolik sliding it back in his own end. Worked off the boards again. This will go all the way to center as Modry dumped it out. Siplikov's got it again. Charging after it along the wall. Has it taken away by Holzinger. Holzinger starting back right through the middle. In over the LA line, then he gets checked, and LaPerriere starts away. LaPerriere feeding it ahead and then taking a shot, looking for his second goal of the night. Hold it back into Stevens, 2-5 for him. Ward coming up with the puck behind the net. He's checked from behind. Ward and Broughton grapple for it. Stevens tried to stuff it in the short side, and Shipnick takes it away. Shipnick swinging around his own end, feeding it for Schmelik. Long pass through the middle is picked off by Grosek. Grosek fighting off a check at center ice, waiting for his teammates to complete a change. Dumps it in. Fed around on the boards, kept in by Galley. The Kings getting it right back again. Set as far as center. Gary Galley picks it off and brings it back in. Galley had to clear it in front. Primo couldn't reach it. Primo after it again behind the net and has the puck back there. Here's Primo dropping it off in the corner as he bumps with Johnson. And around in the other direction to the blue line. Bugner holding it in. Ray charges in there, bumping with Nordstrom. They'll do some wrestling in the corner. The puck is tied up, at least for the moment. Kick free to Grosek. Grosek turning around, trying to work it in front. He grapples with his check, who goes down. It's Broughton. And it's fed free by the Kings off the linesman down the ice. And Galley going back to pick it up. This is going to be icing against LA, but only 56 seconds remain on the clock. And the Sabres are still going to be looking for their first victory on this 5-game road trip.
And that began on Tuesday night in San Jose with a 1-1 tie. And Ed Nolan, I'm sure, was looking forward tonight to beating Los Angeles, a club that's near the bottom of the National Hockey League, who have won only 2 games in the last 13. The Sabres couldn't do it here tonight in Los Angeles. So a very bitter disappointment. Now you've got to go into Anaheim and play the Ducks, who beat Florida last night by a score of 3-2, coming off a big victory.
Platt, Barnaby, and Moore is the forward line for Buffalo. Galley at the point. Took a shot, but it's knocked down and cleared away to center by Bill Bilesma. I beg your pardon. Ferraro coming back again. He'll just ease it into the corner. Bugner. Flip it around the boards. Bumped by Bilesma. taken free and knocked right back through the middle again. Boucher helping it ahead. Backhanded in by Olchuk. Here's Bugner rolling it around for Galley. He lets it slide. Plant then fanned on his pass. Moore clears the zone. It's sent back to center ice. Galley trying to get away, can't do it, and then he runs into Kristich. Brought back in over the line. There's going to be a penalty coming up here to Los Angeles, but it really matters not at this point in time with but 13 seconds left on the clock.
And Derek Plant put a slick move on at the Los Angeles blue line and was tripped up by Philip Boucher. Here's the play as Plant pulls it wide and is tripped by the Los Angeles defenseman.
But this is just a matter of playing off the last 13 seconds on the clock for the Kings to even their season series with Buffalo. Each team victorious on home ice. Swept back to the point. LA now coming up with the puck and just rolling it down the ice, and as Zipnik goes back to get it, Los Angeles Kings recorded their second victory in a row.
And 6 goals tonight for the Kings on 25 shots. And the Sabres certainly cannot be faulted for working hard, but they made some mistakes that cost them goals. And Larry Robinson said that the Kings needed to put some home games together. They beat Vancouver 6-2 a couple of nights ago, and tonight they score 6 again to defeat Buffalo. And to say, give him credit, he fought his way through a very shaky first period and came on strong for Los Angeles.
So the Kings are defeated in Buffalo by the Sabres 6-2, but turn around and do it to the Sabres here in the Los Angeles rink, the Great Western Forum, 6-3.
The job, or you don't want to do the job, then you don't need to be